We are going to start, though, as we have been doing for many weeks now, with the latest on the COVID-19 situation in South Korea. The authorities are evaluating the pandemic to be at the highest level of risk yet. In response, they've implemented stricter virus prevention measures, which include extending the use of vaccine passes.
For more on this and other related updates, joining us in our studio is our reporter Shin Ye-eun. Good morning again, Yeun.
Good morning.
Let's start with the infection numbers for today.
Right, so we're expecting numbers to be in the 4,000s yet again. Up to 9 p.m. Monday, the country reported 3,558 new COVID-19 infections. This was 329 fewer than what had been reported at the same time the day before, but up by more than 917 from the same time last week.
South Korean authorities then are warning that we are at this highest emergency level, particularly here in Seoul, and this is largely due to the spike in the number of critically ill patients, as well as the emergence of this Omicron variant.
You're absolutely right, Mark. Authorities in South Korea have evaluated the risk level from the pandemic is at the highest level for the second week in a row. Last month, the country implemented a new 5-tier assessment system to evaluate the risk level of COVID-19 on a weekly basis. Authorities said we're at the highest level of risk to the point where our medical system's capacity has reached its limit. On Monday, the Central Disaster Management Headquarters said 8 out of 10 beds for critically ill COVID-19 patients in the Greater Seoul area were being used. The healthcare crunch was most evident in the Seoul and Incheon area. In Seoul, nearly 90% of beds for critically ill patients were in use, while the figure in Incheon stood at 93.7%.
So because of this, authorities have decided to strengthen social distancing measures beginning this Monday, and this includes expanding vaccine passes to most public places. Was everyone on board with this latest measure?
Well, unfortunately, not really. Vaccine passes have been a controversial topic ever since we implemented them from November. An online petition against vaccine passes uploaded near the end of November has garnered endorsement from more than 280,000 people. And this comes as vaccine passes have been implemented at more facilities. Passes are now required at restaurants, cafes, and theaters. Initially, proof of vaccination was only required for people entering venues like indoor sports facilities, nightclubs, or singing rooms. Unvaccinated people had to submit a negative PCR test result taken within the previous 2 days to gain entry. Authorities have also decided to extend vaccine pass requirements to students aged 12 to 18 from February, despite opposition from some teens and their parents. They will require students to be fully vaccinated to go to cram schools, libraries, and academies for the sake of public safety. But many parents and students said this measure would violate unvaccinated students' right to study.
Yeah, I'm sure this isn't going to be the last we hear of this opposition to these vaccine passes here in South Korea. But we've been seeing this tug of war going on in many other countries. A very unhappy populace versus these new government rules regarding vaccine passes.
Right, we definitely have been seeing that. And whether governments around the world should mandate vaccines or even implement incentives for the vaccinated has always been questioned. And some people around the world have been very vocal about their disapproval against vaccine passes. On Sunday, thousands opposing the Belgian government's COVID-19 restrictions marched through the streets of Brussels, carrying placards reading "No to mandatory vaccination" and "No to dictatorship." Take a listen to what one protester had to say.
I am a natural being and I want to choose over my own body and my own free will, and that's why I'm here.
And demonstrations have also occurred in other parts of the world like Australia, the U.S., and Switzerland. Despite protests in Switzerland, though, 2/3 of voters actually backed a law passed earlier this year to use vaccine passes. So vaccine pass measures are definitely controversial. We'll have to see how other countries, including South Korea, address this.
Well, we will have to wait and see. Thank you so much for your report, Yeun. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you.